Good morning, YouTube. It is Monday in August, the middle of the summer. August 12th to be exact. We're going to talk about Jeffrey Epstein's autopsy. We're going to talk about the results, the case, the mystery surrounding it, and we're going to get to it right now. Guys, DutyRon here, retired New York City police detective. I'm on my way into my office. I figured I'd give a 10 or 15 minute quick video to you guys. Thank you to everyone who's joining. Thank you to all my Patreon supporters and all my people. We're going to talk about Jeffrey Epstein. The autopsy results are in, but they are not putting them out. The chief medical examiner in New York City, that is the chief, the actual bigwig who doesn't conduct daily autopsies but's in charge of the whole program. She conducted her autopsy over the weekend, as I reported would happen, expeditiously, under the supervision of the FBI, an outside autopsy specialist who's covered many high-profile cases. He was a chief medical examiner in the 70s and 80s. He was there, so three separate people, one person, one medical examiner conducting the autopsy. The results are in, but they're not posting them out. They're not giving them out to the public, the definitive answer. It says probable cause, hanging. Doesn't say by suicide. Nothing is put out there, and that's what has me confused. Okay, usually medical examiners, as a retired law enforcement guy like myself, been around, I've seen many autopsies conducted. I've been to the medical examiner's office day after a homicide occurs or a suspicious death, and I have to go in the autopsy room and witness the actual autopsy being conducted. And they always come out with a cause of death right then and there, or shortly thereafter when they conduct the autopsy, which, by the way, is obviously, as you all know, not such a great sight to see. Thank you to everyone who is joining in on the premiere. Again, I'm driving, so stability on the recording is not going to be great because I'm hitting bumps and the camera's going all over the place. But yes, I too now have my my thoughts. My thoughts are I'm a bit confused as to why she wasn't able to give a definitive answer. Suicide by hanging, there's pretty much not any other circumstances surrounding it. I don't know if that means he had signs of being beaten. I don't know if he had signs of any other type of injuries to him that are not letting them definitively say that he it was the only cause of death was hanging, suicide. So we'll see what happens. There's a lot of things that are surrounding this alleged suicide, with why was he alone? Why wasn't he on the 24-hour suicide watch? My understanding is that he wasn't. He was just taken off of that suicide watch. Just 2 or 3 weeks ago, he was found on the floor in a cell with injuries that were minor, but he was still found on his floor with injuries that would say that he was suicidal. He was put on suicide watch in that pod in Manhattan, MCC. You basically can't do anything. The ceilings are really low. There's nothing to hang yourself with. There's no way you could you can hurt yourself. You're put in a Tyvek jumpsuit, that type jumpsuit where it's, you can't use it to commit any type of assault against yourself. There was 2 corrections officers that were supposed to be checking on him every 30 minutes here in this current, housing that he was in, solo. And those 2 correction officers were on severe overtime. I spoke about this in my last video. The corrections officers throughout America, not just in New York, but the feds, the state, the local, it's a system that is definitely, they need more staffing everywhere. And it's not the most desirable job. There's not a lot of people that are just knocking down their doors to become corrections officers because they know what the conditions are. It's not pleasant to be a corrections officer. I always say to my New York City correction friends, how do you do it? I would never want to do that job. It's really not a pleasant environment to work in for the jailer, for the corrections officer. So they're understaffed. They definitely acknowledged that there was some type of ball drop where he was not checked in a 30-minute span, and in that 30 minutes, this is what the result was. I don't feel that there's some massive cover-up, and a lot of other people have these conspiracy theories where they think, well, is it possible that the Clintons or somebody on the outside, some influential? Yes, that's definitely possible. But you need to understand that for that to happen, you need all of the people in the correction facility to be on board with the big conspiracy theory. And I don't think that dozens upon dozens of high-ranking corrections officials and jailers would go along with something like that. You're talking about murder here, guys. So look at the big picture, and there'll still be some that'll say, yeah, the political people put out the hit, everybody down the line, including medical personnel in the jail, administrative people who don't have anything to do with the jailing process, the scheduling people. Everyone had to be in on this hit, if you want to call it that. So I don't see that happening. I'm a realist, and you guys can, I respect all the comments. I respect everybody's thoughts, because each person is their own individual. But I could tell you, because I've been in and out of MCC quite a bit over my 20 plus years, and many other jails, state, local feds. I've been to Varick Street, where they have all the ICE detainees and all the different federal lockup people. And it's not an environment where there's mass, chaos or corruption. Everything is documented. The cameras were there in place, but they're not, I guess, I'm thinking maybe for privacy issues, they weren't on all the regular cells. Don't forget, he was not in protective custody. Should he have been in protective custody? Yes, I do feel that he should have been in protective custody, because you want to have this guy dragged through the trial. You want to see the wheels of justice get him. But I said this in my previous video. I feel that Jeffrey Epstein, because of his past, the way he lived, the heinous crimes that he committed, the lavish things that he was used to, now he's in an 8x8 jail cell. The walls are closing in on him. His world is crashing down on him. He did not have the will to probably live. It's not an environment that somebody like that would be able to excel in, if you will. So was he suicidal? Absolutely. He had no chance of possibly getting out. He knew it. His lawyer told him, after they made those attempts, we're not going to be getting you out until after the end of this trial. He was looking at September of 2020. I think we were talking about Labor Day of 2020, or some words to that effect, is how long it would take for everyone to get all of the evidence and all of their stuff together. So he was looking at, a year plus from now before the thing goes to trial. So, I don't know. There's so many theories, there's so many possibilities. Could he have said to his people, pay someone to take me out? I don't know. This would all be guesswork, and it's all, not fully documented. We're not gonna have, people hiding. The autopsy is going to be the autopsy. The FBI, the Department of Justice, all the people who are behind law enforcement arms and branches are going to get these reports. And if you think the chief medical examiner for the city of New York is going to go out and just create a bunch of lies in an autopsy, then you need to really seriously check yourself. The medical examiner is not going to now create some false narrative in an autopsy to just quell everything and make it seem like this guy just killed himself. If he in fact did kill himself by himself without assistance and there was no further injuries to him, that will be come out in that report. If in fact he did have some help and their evidence shows it there in the autopsy, or through don't forget, the feds are going to do their own checks on their people. Everybody in that federal correction facility. I saw a news report this morning where the lawyer for the cop that was his jail cellmate when he first made that or he was found in his jail cell, the cop's lawyer, the one that was in the cell with Epstein that everybody says tried to kill him, He said that he was there visiting his client just yesterday, and the air was thick. It was tense inside the MCC. The Manhattan Correctional Center was, you could cut it with, it was thick. You can cut it with a knife. He said everybody seemed like they were on edge there, and because heads are going to roll. 2 corrections officers screwed up on their watch. Whether they made a check on them within that 30-minute period, I don't know, but it's being reported that they didn't. So, there could be many different scenarios that come into play here, but I feel, as I keep saying in my videos, I know that the victims want to have this guy dragged through court so they can tell their story, but there's a lot of victims that are petrified of testifying or petrified about reiterating and going over what happened to them, and they just want their civil suits to go forward and get compensation, because really at the end of the day they have to live the rest of their lives with this heinous crime committed against them as children. They should be compensated, and really now that is the best case scenario, because a civil suit does not stop because the defendant has killed himself or has been murdered. Whatever the case may be, the civil case will still go forward, and he's worth over $500 million. So these victims will get their compensation. They'll get their they'll get something for the crime that was committed against them monetarily. I know that a lot of ladies and a lot of people said, they want to face their victim, but that's not blanket for all of these victims. And I know this to be true because a lot of these women dread having to tell their story and be up on a stand, and and some of them want to be empowered and get it up there, and I get it. I get both sides of it, but we have to deal with the cards that are on the table right now. And the cards that are on the table is that he's dead. He has an estate that's worth over $500 million. And, these victims, however many there are, deserve to be compensated. All of his assets and all of his money should be liquidated and given to these poor victims, these young girls who were victimized, who are now adults. And that's how I feel about it. There's many varied opinions in regards to, what would have been just, but we can't say shoulda, coulda, woulda. We have to say this is what happened, and it's a shame that he isn't here to be, for this to be dragged out, and taxpayers' money is saved by him taking his own life or being killed or whatever the case is, and I feel that this is one less monster, one less predator that is on the face of the earth, and that makes it this a better place. All the other people I feel are still that have that have criminality and that were involved in his parties and his sex crimes that he committed. If there's evidence there, I said this on the last video, they will this is not going to guarantee them safety. I'll put it to you that way. All the documents that were just released recently name a lot of different scenarios and a lot of different people. But I want to say thank you to all my Patreon supporters, all my people who send me emails and friends. You guys are like a family to me. I really love and respect you. Thank you to everyone joining in on this live premiere. I'm on my way to my office. I'm almost where I got to be, so I'm going to bid you guys a fond adieu. Thank you to everyone who's given Super Chat, who continually supports me on here, on YouTube, on Periscope, all of the new subscribers. Thank you all for coming in. I appreciate the positive interaction in these live premieres that I do. I'm doing this, it was a busy weekend, so I couldn't really do any uploading or any type of editing. My weekends are precious because it's time spent with my family, so I couldn't take any time away to do that. I did go live on Periscope TV. That's the Twitter app. So if you want to follow me on Twitter, you don't even have to sign up for Periscope. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll see my lives, and then you can click on my lives on the links that I put out on Twitter, and then you could just watch my lives, or you can join in on them. You can join in on them if you sign up for a Periscope account. So if you want to know more about that, email me at DutyRon@AOL.com. Thank you to Joey Brooklyn, Black Rose, Winky Whispers, Jonna, all of my friends, Aaron Leahy, everyone. I'm getting to also sending out thank yous to everyone for the my mom's passing. You guys sent me a lot of cards. I have a pile of them. I forgive me for not getting back to you guys, but I'm going to mail each and every one of you thank you. So I have it set aside. It's on my to-do list, so I got to get that taken care of. So much love and respect to you guys from the DutyRon family. Remember, if you want more on Jeffrey Epstein and current crime cases and old crime cases, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and you will get notifications anytime I do an upload or go live or do a live premiere on Periscope and YouTube. So please subscribe to my channel, and thank you to all my brand new subscribers on my YouTube channel here. Love and respect to everyone from DutyRon. I'll talk to you on the next video. Peace.